Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen. We have 3 areas we can go to: Pogrom Forest, Slums of Zenobia, and Deneb's Garden. The Pogrom Forest was the first one that opened up, so we're going to head there. It's a big map though, with a lot of enemy units. There's going to be 26 enemy units total, not including the boss. So to help us cover this large map, I tried to make most of my units flying units. So I used the Hawkmen, some Ravenmen, and some Griffins to allow my units to fly. That way they can cover terrain a little bit quicker, because forest terrain slows down characters. Most of our characters are plains movement, so being able to fly over the forest prevents them from slowing down. So, also, sending out flying units allows us to meet the enemy a little bit quicker. A lot of the enemies in this map are going to be low alignment enemies, which means they'll fight better during the night. So if we can meet them early during the day, we'll be able to just be a little bit more combat effective. So every unit except for that last one there has a cleric in it. They'll be important for keeping our units alive, because they heal during battle, and they'll also be useful in this area because we're going to be encountering undead. Undead can only be defeated with white magic spells like healing, or with a white magic weapon. We don't really have a lot of them. We only have that rune axe that we got from the last stage. So that's another reason why we wanted to maybe do that last stage first, so we can have a white magic weapon just to be safe. The forest in this area is a very frightening place called the Pogrom Forest. Oh, I can't bear to speak any further of it. And we'll learn about why it's so scary a little bit later on. So we're going to learn a lot about some enemies, some, I guess, high-ranking officials in the Empire, and some of the atrocities the Empire committed in this area. So we're going to get a little bit of foreshadowing of some of the future villains that we'll encounter in the Empire. So, but now, like I said, this is a pretty big map. Our base is in the northeast there, the enemy base is in the southwest. Most of the enemy units are going to be making a beeline, basically from the southwest to the northeast. There's an Ogre sword, really strong physical attack sword, gives you 20 attack. So that'll be good, we can throw that on one of our units. Spike shield, just a defensive item, not as good as a weapon, so. But, alright. And we're going to try to go out and meet the enemies. We're going to have our little line of defense here. Like I said, most of the enemies are going to be coming up on that northeast path. However, there will be some units that will be heading east first and then north. So if you picture like a right triangle, they'll be traveling the legs of the triangle, where most of the enemies will be doing going the hypotenuse. So that's why we have this defensive line kind of formed here. We'll be getting that temple, liberating that temple over there to the left side of the screen. That way we have 2 temples that we can kind of use as our healing bases. So let's see what our first unit here is. Ooh, we got a wizard and some imps. We can recruit some of those imps in this area. They'll be level 6. They'll be encountered in the mountain area. In the forest area, the neutral encounters are ghosts and skeletons, both level 9. So we won't really be recruiting them here. We'll recruit the more advanced undead, which are wraiths and phantoms. Wraiths are the advanced skeletons, phantoms are the advanced ghosts. So, but the undead and the neutral encounters in the forest, they're really good for building up alignment and charisma, because as long as you have a white magic weapon, you can take them out in one hit, and they're level 9, so they'll definitely give a lot of alignment and charisma boost to our low-level units. A lot of our units are still level 2, because we really didn't deploy them. We really weren't deploying our fighter units, because we were trying to get so many cleric units. We were focusing mainly on using our Amazons so we can get them to become clerics, so that we can use them for this area. So, as long as we don't have the clerics, our tactics set on strong, the clerics will use their healing magic to take out the undead. we take out all these guys, and look, we got a whole bunch of levels. So we first started off with leader there because that way the Valkyrie can use her magic to attack beyond the undead and hit the wizard. So, but we'll push this unit back a little bit. It's one of our few non-flying units. So move our flying unit there to liberate that temple. And Orpheus' unit is going to liberate that temple down there to the south. And then we can have that one cleric unit that was injured fly back and heal up. So, similar tactics. We'll be rotating units back and forth from the front line. When they get injured, we'll have them heal. It'll be a little bit easier, though, to rotate units, though, in this thing. Because, like I said, a lot of them are flying, so they can get to areas where they're needed quicker than over the land. So, but what we got here? We got... Ooh, this unit again. The remainder of this unit. So, there's our little Hawkman in the back there. So, our Raven Man. Yeah, he uses Inferno from the back row, as opposed to Thunder, which Canopus, the good alignment, advanced Hawkman uses. So, the Raven Men are the evil aligned Hawkmen, so they're better against black magic and have better resistances against fire because they use fire from the back row. Hawkmen have, because they're the good, Eaglemen are the good Hawkmen, so they use lightning. They have better resistances against white magic and thunder. Pull a chariot card here. That'll boost our physical strength. That'll help when use that tarot card for damage. Because remember, tarot cards are based on the Lord's stats. I recently saw a man in the forest. It looked like he was casting a spell. He drew a shape on the ground and called a demon up out of it. I'll bet that was Capella himself. Ooh, how scary. Capella is, spoiler, the boss of this area. And he has a little bit of a tie to Rashidi. So, the kind of overall big bad. Remember, at the beginning we were told that he was one of the heroes of the war that unified the continent. But for some reason, 25 years ago, he turned against his good friend King Gran and aligned himself with Empress Endora of the Highlands. So, got another undead unit here coming up. Has the skeletons in the front. Skeletons are more physical undead, so they're better in the front row. But they're a little bit worse than ghosts because ghosts can give your unit the low sky flying ability. So they're a little bit better to fly around. However, undeads you want to have kind of in the front row to be tanks, and the skeletons and wraiths do a little better in the front row because they're physical oriented, where the ghosts will just use a physical attack in the front row, but they're more magic oriented. They do better attacking from the back row. So I guess that's how they kind of balance the undead. Usually you want your undead in the front row, because if the enemy unit doesn't have like a magic attack or white magic, they're not going to take any damage. So, for instance, in this, if we had undead in this fight, the only one that could potentially do damage is the back row. The advanced Worm, the Wyvern, does fire from the back row. So yeah, that unit wouldn't be able to do any damage because they all have physical attacks and they'd all miss. So, yeah, undeads can make really good tanking units, but the enemy can still hurt some other characters in your unit if you have undead, because just like our units have those 4 tactics, the enemies also use those 4 tactics. So, for instance, if they use, say, like a leader attack, if their AI is set to a leader, then they will, not target the undead. They'll target your leader. So, but got a good level up for everybody there because we took out those skeletons. Skeletons, all undead in this area in the enemy units are level 7. The neutral encounters in the forest there are all level 9. So they're a good way to build up your alignment and your charisma for lower level units. You can give them a white magic weapon and just have them hit the unit. One hit takes out the enemy. undead. And the neutral encounters in the forest are pretty prevalent. They're not very rare. A lot of times in some areas, it's really hard to get into a neutral encounter. It takes a while before you get one. There's a lot of neutral encounters in the forest. And we'll learn, it has to do with the lore of why there are so many undead in the forest. So we'll learn that a little bit later as we liberate more towns and temples. I keep calling cities towns, but we'll learn more as we liberate more why there's so many undead in this forest. Tower's not a very good card. I'll explain a little bit why. I have lived in the Pogrom Forest for 20 years, hoping to save even a few lost souls. I've done my best, but as long as Capella's here, there's nothing I can do. So you see the forest there a little bit. There's some areas where there's a lot of trees missing. We'll learn why those trees are missing, and like I said, that ties into why there are so many undead. And anyway, going back, I said the Tower card isn't a very good card. It basically causes a little bit of a quake magic. So it doesn't hurt any unit that can fly. So those worms it wouldn't hurt, fairies, angels, hawkmen, ravenmen, eaglemen, those imps, anything that has a movement of sky, be it low or high, is unaffected by the Tower card. So, yeah, not really good. However, whatchamacallit, and it's also like a black magic, and a lot of times the enemy units are more evil in alignment, so it's not going to do a lot of damage to them, because usually low alignment units won't take much damage from, black magic type. So we just rotated our characters a little bit there, so our fighter won't be as very effective, but he's safe from physical attacks because he's in the back row there, so. It'll allow us to hopefully be able to win this battle and have this unit retreat a little bit here, so. Now, a good thing here, too, I just set my tactics to leader here in the hopes that I can defeat the leader there. I didn't, but if I would have defeated the leader, of course that would have turned into a skull, and it would have retreated, but I have a defensive line there, so we would have been able to catch that unit as it was trying to retreat back to base and regroup, so. There we go, take out the leader, so. Now hopefully the wizard will use, well, the wizard will obviously target that worm's weakness, so do the most damage to it, so. Well, see, as long as our wizard hits and maybe the fighters hit, we might be able to finish off this worm, so. Well, that's not looking good now that they, I could have probably turned my tactics to weak, did a little bit more damage. Remember, when your tactics are on weak, your characters will take more damage, but they will also deal more damage, so. But luckily that basically just retreated to where another unit was, so it's a good reason why we had this little wall there. Hopefully our cleric goes first to heal that little fighter there. Oh, got a little bit of hit points there, so. And we take out that worm unit. Woohoo! And that other fighter gains a level. Nice. Trying to get most of our fighters to level 5 so they can promote into knights. So, eventually then, when we hit level 7, we'll want to maybe promote some of those knights then into samurai. So, samurai and knights are pretty similar. Samurai might be a little bit better than knights. They have a little bit better agility growth. And their back row attack is that Ianuki, probably mispronouncing it, but what that does is it's a targeted physical attack that damages the samurai, where the knight just has a normal swing. And then the advanced classes, the samurai master gets that Ianuki attack, and the knight becomes a paladin and he has a healing attack. But the problem with the paladin is, because they're being raised from the knight class, their healing will be really, really bad, because knights tend to have, they focus on strength growth rather than intelligence growth, and, the healing is obviously for characters, it's magical, so it's based on your character's intelligence, so. So sometimes that can be bad when you have a unit that maybe specializes in a stat growth that isn't really great for its class. That's normally not happening, but sometimes, like, for instance, the Valkyrie there, that's a bit, it's a little bit of a strength build, but its back attack is a magical attack. So, and then the Beastmasters can turn into Dragon Tamers, and then Dragon Masters, and the Dragon Masters, they've been raised as a Beastman. Well, that's one of the advantages of the Beastman, is they have a high strength growth. So they'll be growing as a high strength growth as Beastmen, Beastmasters, and then as Dragon Tamers, but then when they become a Dragon Master, their back row attack is intelligence based, so the game does some weird things sometimes, but for the most part, your character stats grow based on what they're best at. But sometimes you get a few odds and end things here, so. But hopefully we can deal some damage to these pups. This might be a tough unit because each of the Hellhounds there on the front row have 3 attacks, and they have low alignment, which means they'll be fighting better at night. So, but the only thing that we can kind of rely on is Hawkmen and their advanced forms, the Ravenmen and the Eaglemen, have high agility, which means that we're pretty good at dodging attacks. So that's why I have the Hawkman there in the middle row, because he's most likely to take attacks. Sitting there in the middle, that's the most vulnerable point. You can also notice there I have the Raven Man in the middle, where he's most vulnerable to attacks, because he's the best dodger in our group. So he has the best chance of... So now normally we don't like to have weak because it'll take more damage, but we want to try to take out one of these Hellhounds as quick as possible. So we'll accept taking that little bit of damage because we might be able to eliminate one of these Hellhounds with the Wizard, and that eliminates now 2 attacks from that Hellhound. We won't have to worry about facing those 2 attacks. So we take some damage in the short term, but in the long term it benefited our characters because those Hellhounds only got to attack once each before we eliminated them. Well, if you would have focused on Strong, the Wizard would have focused on the leader, and those Hellhounds would still be alive to attack. So sometimes you have to use your tactics to determine whether, hey, is it better to take some pain in the short term to save myself from trouble in the long term. So, but now a lot of our units have healed up, so we'll push them out, which is good because they're healed up just in time to basically to confront the second wave of enemies. So this should be an easy battle to at least win, if not entirely remove, because that wild one in the back row only has 1 attack. So unfortunately we're missing a lot, but I guess that's to be expected. He's evil alignment, so he'll fight a little bit better at night. So he's gonna try to retreat to that temple to heal up, because like I said, he's below 50% of his strength. He's down to 33% of his strength, so his AI is kicking in to say, hey, retreat to the nearest city or temple to refresh your unit. But we have a unit posted there, so he's just gonna march to his doom. Woohoo! And we got another enemy unit coming up there. Imp. And our fighter is still not up in... he's not ready to be a knight yet, so... But we can make this guy a fighter, though. And he can potentially become a knight. Let's see, make him a ninja! That's a new class. Ninjas are available at level 6. We can also make him a wild man. He was the leader of the unit that we just defeated. But ninja's a new class, so let's see what the ninja are. Ninjas are kind of agility-based fighters. In the front row, they're the first small unit that you can get that has 3 attacks all the time from the front row. Now those werewolves that we got from the last thing, they have 3 attacks too, but only at night. During the daytime, they're just a regular fighter, and they only get 1 attack. Ninjas will have 3 attacks on the front row, shurikens, no matter what time it is. However, they have pretty low defense and low hit points growth, so if you're going to use them in the front row, it's probably nice to put an armor piece on them. So, from the back row, they have Ninjutsu, which is basically magic, but it can't hit all the elements. It hits, it can hit water or ice with Suton, which is like a rain attack. Uses fire, it can hit fire, and it can hit lightning. So it can hit those 3 elements, but it can't hit the physical, white, or black. So, where the wizard could hit the black with nightmare and physical with tornado. Wizards can only not hit the white magic. So. We got another tough flying unit here. But we have pretty good offense of this unit here now. Like I said, the ninja will have 3 attacks. So we'll have 7 front row attacks and then the targeted wizard attack. So. And the wizard can be pretty good for doing attacks because he can start working on the back row there. So while our physical attackers are working on the front row, he can start taking out some of the enemies in the back row, or weakening them up, softening them up, so spread the damage out. So otherwise we can potentially, eliminate, maybe 2 of those characters, reduce it to 50% of its health, and then it'll fly away to heal up. And flying units can be tough because, that low flying unit, the only way we'd be able to catch it if we tried to retreat would be with a high flying unit. And we only have 1 of them right now, the one with the griffin in it, and that one's healing up. So if this one retreats, we wouldn't be able to catch it with any of our low flying units because of the same speed. So we want to try to avoid having this unit retreat. So that's why the wizard's good, because he'll try to weaken things up evenly. So. Now when it's time to eliminate this unit, we can try to get everything down to a point where one fight will take them all 3 in the back row out at one time. So, move this guy down here. Yeah, we'll just get a little bit of healing there, and let's see. So these units are all pretty good. We'll have. I try to make, unfortunately I have 2 units there led by clerics. I try to usually have each of my units led by a different character, so that way it's easier to distinguish what unit is which. So, because you'll be like, wait, which cleric unit is this one being led by? Or which cleric unit is this? Where if you have each of your units with a different leader, a unique leader, then it's easier to tell some of your units apart. So, just helps you manage your army. So, I turned my tactics there to weak because I realized that the enemy pretty much used up all its attacks. So once the enemy uses up all its attacks, well, we don't have to worry about the negative of the leader of the weak tactic, which is we take more damage. Because the enemy ain't going to attack us anymore. They used all their attacks up. So we'll get a little bit of extra damage by turning us into weak. By turning the tactics to weak when we know the enemy's... that's why it's important to know a little bit about what the enemy's deal. So now some of these units, they're not necessarily going on the hypotenuse. They're going a little bit of a deeper angle. But they're not going to be the units that are going straight across and then up. But we'll get them probably in like maybe the 3rd wave of enemies. So, like I said, the first few waves are just gonna, mainly come up. These guys are probably going on a less steeper angle because they might also have their AI program to go after Orpheus or head toward where Orpheus is. So, yeah, some units have an AI to charge straight to the your base. Because if they reach your base, you get kicked back to the map screen. And others have their AI that they want to seek out your opinion leader, because if they eliminate him, it's game over. So sometimes though that's good because not that you want to get a game over, but it's good that enemies are programmed like that because you can lure them into traps. So Wadonk. And hopefully this, I don't want to have the risk of that. It looks like they're targeting the weak enemy there, or the weak unit, so we don't want that wizard to go and potentially knock out that soldier. So not good, but that's okay. If that unit sneaks by, we have, like I said, we have we have units stempled on that healing on the temple in the back there. So I mentioned that one unit looks like its AI is on weak. So sometimes you want to watch, even though you don't really have much involvement in attacks like this other than setting the tactics, you want to watch to see who the enemy is targeting, especially spellcasters. They usually give a good idea on what the unit's AI is set to, so you can better prepare for things. So if you're like, oh, these units is obviously attacking the weaker unit, so if I have a weak unit, I'm going to be very careful and retreat if I see a unit hurting pretty bad. So, but okay. Alright, let's take our tactics off of strong. Otherwise, that cleric wouldn't hurt those ghosts. So, but okay. Uh-oh. Let's see what's going on here. Uh-oh. This is not good. We don't want to lose this guy in the front row, so I'm gonna put the magic shield on just to prevent that fighter there from the middle from getting hit. See, yeah, the wizard targeted it, but unfortunately, still gonna have to retreat. So we kind of wasted that card. It kept that one fighter alive, but it would have been nicer if we would have been able to defeat both of those ghosts, because then we could have finished off the wizard there. But that ghost, he'd have an attack, and he'd be able to attack that fighter in the middle there and defeat him. And like I said, we're going for no deaths in this playthrough, so we don't want anybody in our army falling. So, woohoo! That cleric, that Amazon has the rune axe equipped, so that's why it was able to defeat that ghost. White magic, so that's why I wasn't too concerned about no cleric being in that unit to fight to combat that ghost, because I knew that the Amazon would take care of it. And that is good, because now that means that the Amazon can promote into a cleric herself. And we'll get a little bit of more targeted attack there with the wizard, because we have quite a few knights there. So, and we usually don't want to put our leader out in front, but he's the only one who's kind of healthy right now. Cleric we don't want to have in the front because we want her in the front, in the back to heal. The wizard is kind of pointless physical in the front because he just hits with the stick, the staff, but wizards have low strength growth, so you want to keep them in the back row. So we don't want Orpheus fighting, so we're just going to have him retreat a little bit there, so that way Mickey is forced to confront the enemy unit. But it should be pretty good, because a wizard should deal a lot of damage, and the griffin in the back row has a hit all attack, a wind attack. So boom, yep, took out two of the enemies right there. This is where I said it was earlier when we were fighting this unit, how we wanted to weaken it to the point where when we did fight it, we'd be able to take them all out at once. We did. Now we don't have to worry about that unit retreating, because he took them all out at once. But okay. Is this the wizard unit with oh no, I thought it was we must have eliminated that unit with the ghosts. But dunk. Hit all attack there. Who do we want to do? Well, we'll keep it on the strong. So that mainly just to keep our beastman a little bit healthier. So, but he will be getting healed by the cleric here, and he'll also be getting some healing. We should be able to win this fight. healing as this unit retreats. Unfortunately, it's a flying unit, so it'll be able to attack pretty quickly. So, well, let's put him in the back row again. The Griffin is healed up, so we can put it in the front row. We'll lose that hit all attack, but we'll keep our leader, our Beastman, safe. So, and luckily that wizard unit retreated right into this unit here. So we got that little ping pong effect. Let's see if we can focus on the... Ooh, there goes that one imp. And we have a strong attack, so we'll take less damage, and we'll focus on the imp there. Badonk. Hopefully our fighter can hit the wizard. Yep, now the imp is strong again. And, well, it was strong. So, but now it's the weak, so... Badonk. But they're still above their 50% strength, so they shouldn't retreat. They still should charge our units and meet their doom. So, what else we got? We got another wizard unit, undead, but they're a land unit, so they'll be marching up this way to confront Rexan's unit, who has a cleric in it, so they'll be able to deal with it easily. But looks like we fought off a pretty good portion of the enemy units here, and we look like we're in pretty good condition here. Just checking out all our characters. Rexan should be able to easily handle that undead unit coming up. And check our units to see which ones are healed up, just to give some backup. And this is what we'll pick up in our next episode. Take care, have a good day. Thanks for following along. Bye!